Is there any for joining? Only 20, including me too. That is only 18 students are there. Okay, let us continue. So we have introduced us what is the definition of a integral equation. Okay, uh, we have seen the syllabus for integral equation also. Correct. What is an integral equation? An equation in which the unknown function appears under one or more integral sign is called a integral equation. Okay. After that, we have seen what is linear integral equation. On the linear integral equation means what the linear operations are performed on the unknown function. What is an unknown function here is y of x. Okay, what was our integral equation in general? We have seen is it is of the form k of x t y of x is equals to some function capital F of x. Here f of x and k of xt both are given to us. K is a kernel, y of x is unknown function, a to b integration here given to us. Lambda here it may be some another function say g of x plus lambda times integration of this function. Okay. So lambda is also one constant. A, b, lambda all are constant. K of x is a kernel. Y of x is unknown function. F of x is also known function. Actually, uh, it is called an integral equation. If a unknown function is appeared under one or more integral sign, then it is called a integral equation. In linear integral equation, what do you mean by linear integral equation? An equation is called a linear integral equation if the linear operations are performed on a unknown function. And what do you mean by non-linear integral equation? The integral equation which is not a linear. Okay. So now let us go for the general type of a linear integral equation that I will write down. Okay. आहेत ना सगळे 21 including me too. सांगा तुमच्या फ्रेंड्सला अटेंड करायचं आहे. Otherwise we'll take a strict action for them. What is the problem for them to attend the lectures? Out of 50 students, only 22 are there. And except me, if I am counting, it will be only 20. Okay. Let us go for our general type of a linear integral equation. Okay. Let me write down this general type of linear integral equation. Okay, general type of linear integral equation in which we have g of x into y of x is equals to some capital F of x plus lambda times integration a to b. Rather, we'll write only integration. Later on, I will explain why this upper limit is not given. Okay, k of xt, y of t dt. Okay, what is this? This is a general type of linear integral equation. What is there in this equation? G of x, y of x is equal to capital F of x lambda times integration a to some upper limit k of xt, y of t dt. So here we can have the a is a constant term, lambda is also constant, k of x is a kernel, f of x, g of x is a known function, y of x that is y of x t is a unknown function. Okay. So actually, I have told you that why the upper limit is not given because the upper limit may be a constant term, say b, That means the integration will be from a to b, or in another way, the upper limit may be some another variable, say x, that is variable value. So we can have the integration is from a to x. It may be a constant or a variable. Okay, depending on that, we have divided the two types. The first one is Voltaire integral equation and Fredol integral equation. The what is for variable, that means if upper limit is variable, then it is the type of integral equation we will include is a Volterra. And if upper limit is constant, then it is called Fredol integral equation. Okay. Okay, let us go. The now we'll see types of linear integral equation. That means we'll see the types of this equation. The first one we'll see is a for linear integral equation of a first kind. Linear integral equation of first kind. Linear integral equation of a first kind. Okay. So, what do you mean by linear integral equation of first kind? In this equation, we have value of g of x is equals to 0. So, what will happen if g of x is equals to 0? So, it will be equal to 0 is equals to f of x. G of x is 0, 0 into y of x, it will be again 0 f of x plus lambda integration of a. Upper limit we haven't defined because still we have to divide it into two forms. That is Voltaire and Fredol integral equation. Okay. So here what is the condition? G of x, if it is equals to 0, then we say that it is linear integral equation of a first kind. Okay. Now let us go for the second kind. What will happen in the second kind? Second kind is nothing but g of x is equals to 1. So it is nothing but linear integral equation of second kind. Linear integral equation of a second kind. What is the meaning of this is in this equation is g of x is equals to 1. So whatever the general form we have, where we have to put g of x is equals to 1. What will be the equation of a second kind? Y of x is equals to g of x is 1. So 1 into y of x it is 1. Sorry, y of x. F of x plus lambda integration a. Upper limit is not given still. A of xt, y of t, dt. Okay. And what is the third kind? The first we'll see. First is linear integral equation of first kind. This is second kind. What will happen for the first kind? G of x is 0. And for second kind, G of x is 1. And for third kind, G of x is non-zero. Linear integral equation of a third kind. So at that time, what is the condition? G of x is not equals to 0. So it will be just like a general form. What is a general form? G of x into y of x is equals to f of x plus integrate lambda integration a k of x t y of t dt. Okay. So let us go one by one. First, we have seen the linear integral equation, general form of linear integral equation. What is this? G of x into y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to some limit. But that limit is not specified because since we are going to form, that is Fredol integral equation and Volterra integral equation. It will be upper limit is variable and it will be Fredol integral equation if the upper limit is constant. Okay. So now we have gone for the first kind of linear integral equation. What is the condition for first kind? G of x is 0. Linear integral equation of a second kind. What is the condition for this is g of x is equals to 1. And for third kind, g of x is not equal to 0. That means this will coincide with our general form. Okay. Actually, there are some 2 to 3 questions will be compulsory based on these types of linear integral equation on set exam. You can search your papers from the last 2 to 3 years, or at least if you want to really want to appear for set exam for qualifying the exam, then you can At least you should solve the 10 last 10 years paper. And if you want to qualify net exam, you should solve net exam question as well as CSI, TIFR. ओके, टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट का एक पेपर होता है, वो भी सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा आपको, राइट? इफ यू वांट टू क्वालिफाई द सेट एग्जाम, देन you should at least see the last 10 years paper. So in that, first you have to verify which question, or rather which question belongs to which paper. Then after doing analysis, okay, what you have to do, suppose this is question number one, if suppose it is of real analysis, you have to keep it as real analysis. If suppose it is of group theory, so you have to keep it as group theory. And suppose it is a first part, so it is group one. And then if suppose it is a integral, if it is next one is about variational principle, so you can keep it as in the category of classical mechanics. Or in another way, if you want to do a deep study, so you should write down those questions, or at least you should solve those questions. No need to write the question, at least you can solve the question answers of say if you are solving the paper of January 2018. So you should solve all the questions in that section. Make a one notebook, solve all the questions in January 2018. At least you should solve near about 80% question. No doubt 20% questions are it may be solvable for every student or not. It depends on the situation. Okay. अगर पूरा पेपर सॉल्व करते हो तो दैट इज ऑल्सो गुड, but if at least 20% paper you should solve, so that you can have a bundle of question answer papers, because you are going to solve those questions, no? So actually near about 2 to 3 questions are fixed in the set exam depending upon the linear types of integral equation. Okay, so now
Hello, ma'am.
ah
I have doubt.
yes.
Ma'am, ते म्हणजे ते काढा ना. हा. There is linear, sorry, Li of second kind है ना.
Hmm.
Ma'am, actually g of x is equal to 1 is the condition. But 1
Hmm.
is not equal to 0. So why it is not included in the third kind?
Actually, the third kind is not defined. Actually, it is given in the book, but actually, what do you mean by g of x not equal to zero? It may be having a condition of g of x equal to one, ना? But
हाँ.
here given specifically, यहाँ पे condition क्या है? आपको g of x one ही लेना है. Not equal to zero means what? You can take any value. But here it is provided that g of x should be exactly equal to one. Not equal to zero, आप कोई भी value consider कर सकते हैं ना? That's why I told you third kind is exactly nothing but your general linear integral equation. Okay, यहाँ पे जनरल में क्या है, g of x के वैल्यूज कुछ भी ले सकते हो ना आप यहाँ पे.
Hmm.
g may be zero, non-zero, it may be equal to one, to whatever it is. But in the case of third kind, it is specified that it should be not equal to zero. But in general, we can have it is equal to zero or non-zero. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let us go for the um, there are again two types. That is, I told you that we have Volterra and Fredol integral equation. Let me go for the firstly Volterra integral equation. Volterra integral, rather we can have Volterra linear integral equation. Okay. So actually, what is Volterra linear integral equation? The equation I will write down generally: g of x into y of x is equals to what is the condition? F of x plus lambda integration a2. As it is a Volterra, so what will be the upper limit? It should be some variable. Now, as the things were introduced by Volterra, the mathematician, so that's why the equations were named after his name. So it is Volterra if the upper limit is variable. Okay. No doubt, after solving the example and after coming to our paper, you can understand why this paper is introduced. Okay. So here it is k of xt y of t dt. Okay. So here we have the general type of Volterra linear integral equation. So what is the case in this here? The upper limit should be variable. Rest other kinds will be the same. Okay, what will be the first kind? The first kind of Volterra integral equation, what will be the condition for that? G of x is equals to 0. If g of x is equal to 0, we have it is nothing but 0 is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to x k of xt y of t dt. What will be the second kind? Whatever we have seen for linear, it will be exactly same, but the change is what? In the upper limit. G of x equals to 1, then it is a second. What will be the condition? Here it is y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to x. Initially, we haven't written any upper limit, but now in the Volterra, we have upper limit is a variable. Okay. Now, what is the case if we are having the third kind? In the third kind, we can assume g of x is non-zero. So, g of x is non-zero means we have the general form g of x into y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to x k of x t y of t dt. Okay. So first we have g of x is equal to 0. Whatever we have seen the first, second and third kind. यहाँ पे change क्या है? सिर्फ upper limit हमने variable एक term डाला है. What is that term? It is nothing but your variable x. So here if it is first kind, so here we have to simply change the term. So it is upper limit. If it is variable, then it is called a Volterra. Okay. So up to now we have seen 3 plus 3, that means total 6 types we have seen. Okay. Now let us go for the next type. What will be the next type if upper limit is constant? Okay. So now let us go for the next type. So we have the next type is Fredol linear integral equation. Okay, what is the condition in this case? Let me write down this is as g of x into y of x is equals to capital F of x plus lambda integration a to b now. So what will be the change? Here upper limit should be specified and the upper limit is nothing but some constant term b, a of xt y of t dt. Okay, so this is what Fredol linear integral equation in which we have g of x into y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to b k of xt y of t dt. So this is Fredol integral equation. Now let us go for the kinds. The first kind is g of x is equal to 0. What do you mean by g of x is 0? So we have the equation is f of x plus lambda integration a to b k of xt y of t dt. So this is a first kind. In the very similar way, we can write the second kind is g of x is equal to 1 means we have to put in the general form. It will be equal to y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to b. So upper limit now it is defined and it is a constant. If it is a constant, we can say it is a Fredol integral equation. Y of t dt. And for the third kind, what is the condition? For third kind, it will be g of x is equals to, not equal to 0, which means it is y of x into g of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to b a of xt y of t dt. Okay. So up to now, how many forms we have seen or how many types? Total 9 types we have seen. So how many MCQ questions can be possible with the help of these 9 types? Because there are 2 types of question it is possible. They may give you an equation, okay, by having some values of f of x. Suppose f of x is x square and k of xt is some kernel given to us. So they may give an equation and then you have to verify which type. Okay. Or in another way, they can give a type. ओके, सपोज आपको उन्होंने बोला कि वोल्टेरा इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन ऑफ सेकेंड काइंड. Okay, which of following is a Volterra integral equation of a second kind? There are four options will be there. So here you have to verify the Volterra integral equation of a second kind. They will give you first, second, third, all the combinations in the MCQ. ऑप्शंस पे आपको बहुत सारे कॉम्बिनेशन होंगे, उसमें से आपको वोल्टेरा सेकेंड काइंड का ढूंढना है. करेक्ट. So there are actually two types of questions are possible, and as we are having 9 types, so many MCQs are possible with the help of these. Okay. Is there any doubt for this? I hope you are listening. Now let me go for the next one, that is homogeneous Fredol integral equation and homogeneous Volterra integral equation. Homogeneous Fredol integral equation and homogeneous Volterra integral equation. So what is the case for homogeneous? Can anyone explain me homogeneous in differential equation?
Differential equation where the constant is zero. Means it is equals to zero. RHS is zero.
That means it is of the type, say suppose it is say L of D is equal to some 0, and if it is having L of D is equal to some another term is there, B of X. If B of X is equal to 0, then it is homogeneous. If B of X is not equal to 0, then it is non-homogeneous. Okay. So here whatever the equal to 0, whatever the function we have, so in this case, what will be the function is, so let me write down, and you have to verify what is a function, which function we have keep to equal to 0. Integration a to b a of xt y of t dt. Homogeneous means in the differential equation we assume it is v of x is 0.
Here y
Which,
of x must be zero.
no, I have written this type. So here what should be the 0? यहाँ पे 0 क्या है आपके इक्वेशन में, जनरल फॉर्मेट में? जनरल फॉर्मेट क्या है आपका? ये वाला है ना, y of x g of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration and all, right?
F of
So
x
here,
is zero.
so in this case we have kept f of x is 0. No doubt if y of x is 0, this will not be having any meaning. No, y of x 0 means this whole term will be 0, because here it is y of x, but here it is y of t. The terms are same, but only the change of that parameter. So what should be the condition? If f of x is equals to 0, then it is a homogeneous. So what will be the case homogeneous Volterra integral equation? It will be y of x is equals to lambda integration a to x. Upper limit will be variable k of xt y of t dt. Right? So in this case also, if f of x is equals to 0, then we say that it is homogeneous Volterra integral equation. So for Volterra, upper limit is variable, and for Fredol, upper limit is constant. And in case of homogeneous, f of x is 0. For first kind, g of x is 0. For second kind, g of x is 1. For third kind, g of x is non-zero. And for general, g of x can take any value from real line. Maybe 0, 1, 2, 3, maybe any number. Okay. So totally how many types we have seen? These 9 types plus homogeneous and Volterra and Fredol, it will be plus 2. That means 11 types we have seen. Okay. And if you include the general format, because in the general we may have the condition of GXC is equal to 0, non-zero. So totally if it will be 11 plus 3, it will be 14 types. So many MCQs are possible from this. Okay. I told you that which type of MCQs it may be. They may give an equation and we have to verify the type. And here they may give one type and here you have to verify the equation. 4 to 5 equations will be there and you have to verify which type will be included there. Okay. And those who want to really want to see whether I am saying correct or not, you have to go for your SET-NET exam question papers. I think it is available. सावित्री बाई फुले यूनिवर्सिटी सेट एग्जाम, वहाँ पे आप अगर वेबसाइट पे विजिट करोगे तो आपको जो ईयर का पेपर चाहिए वहाँ पे सिर्फ ड्रॉप डाउन में ईयर्स आते हैं, वहाँ पे आपको ईयर सिलेक्ट करना है और पेपर्स मिल जाएंगे. ओके, so now let us go for the next point, that is Leibniz rule for differentiation under the integral sign. Okay. Leibniz rule. I hope you are familiar with Leibniz rule for differentiation.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a rule?
It is for the nth derivative of a function.
Right. Whether anyone remember, if we are having u into v, that is if you want to find out the nth derivative of a product of function. Okay. And the derivative of product of a function. What you do for that? First we'll keep u naught. आठवते का NC0, NC1.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this way, if we are having the nth derivative of a product of function, at that time we are using the Leibniz rule for differentiation of product of function. But in this case, we have to see Leibniz rule for differentiation under the integration sign. Okay. Actually, the proof for this is not for your syllabus. As I told you initially, we are having only method example. कहीं पे भी आपको theory नहीं है. Not even in numerical, not in integral equation. So in this semester, I am going to teach you only examples and method. Okay. So let us go for the what is the statement for the Leibniz rule for differentiation under the integral sign. Let f of xt and let me write down the statement. Let capital F of xt and dou f by dou x be a continuous function, of both x and t. That means they are continuous in x as well as t. Let first derivative of g of x and h of x be continuous. Let first derivative of g of x and h of x is continuous. Let first derivative of g of x and h of x be continuous. Then what is the rule for that? D by dx of integration. Now what is the lower limit? G of x. Upper limit is h of x. F of xt dt is equals to, now it will be nothing but integration g of x, h of x, dou f by dou x. First we are going to differentiate with respect to x partially, plus first we'll keep the upper limit, that is h of x. Okay, and here we have to write down the derivative of h of x with respect to x, plus what is the next term we have? It is nothing but we have to keep now lower limit. Actually it is negative. अपर लिमिट माइनस लोअर लिमिट उसके जैसा ही है. हम जब इंटीग्रेशन सॉल्व करते हैं तो अपर लिमिट माइनस लोअर लिमिट लिखते हैं ना. It is just like that. So here we have to write down the derivative of g of x with respect to x. See carefully and try to buy this, because actually there is no proof for this in our syllabus. Okay, what is given to us? G of x and h of x are first derivative of g of x and h of x is continuous, and next thing provided is f of xt dou f by dou x be a continuous function in x and t. That means both are continuous in the values of x and t. Maybe continuous simply at x or simply at t. So here it is given that it is continuous on both functions x and both variable x and t. Okay. So what is the derivative? Sorry, differentiation under the integration sign. If I want to evaluate the derivative of this, so at that time, I simply saying you so that you can by heart this, or you can have a hint to how to remember this. So what you have to do, if I want to find out the derivative under the integration sign, first I will find out the derivative of the this function. Okay, rather we'll find out the partial derivative. Why partial derivative? Because f is a function of two variables, so hence we are having the partial derivative. Okay, to remember simply, I am saying this. What is a condition? We have to find out the derivative under the integration sign. First, we have found the derivative. As it is a partial derivative, if we are having the integration of say a to b some function f of b, f of x dx. So after finding the integration, let us assume that we get as capital F. So we'll write down this as f of b minus f of b. असंच करतो ना आपण
Yes, ma'am.
upper limit minus lower limit. So here also we have done the same thing. F of x t, instead of, as we are integration is with respect to t, so instead of having t, we have just put up the value of upper limit. Okay, and then we have a derivative of this upper limit with respect to x. Next, minus upper limit minus lower limit. So here the what is the case in the lower limit? F of x t. So we have integrated with respect to t, so we have to put up the limit here. So lower limit we have put up, and we have to find out the derivative of this lower limit g of x with respect to x. This is a case only if g of x, h of x are function. If suppose they are simply constant term, what will be the case for if g of x and h of x will be constant? Imagine and tell me.
Then it will be simply integration.
Two terms become zero, ma'am.
Integration a to b. Suppose here instead of having g of x and h of x a function, so if I am assuming they are constant, so it will be a to b dou f by dou x dt plus, right? So here if h of x is a simply one constant term, g of x is also constant term, what will be the derivative of constant term with respect to anything?
They are zero.
It will be zero. First term is partial derivative, second is zero, third is also zero. So it will be reduced to simply partial derivative, correct? If upper and lower limit are constant, so this derivative will be reduced to a partial derivative with respect to x. Okay, and after finding this, you have to just integrate with respect to t, and after integrating, you will get some function, and then you have to put up the limits a to b. Okay. Now, if you're not having any doubt, actually there should not be doubt because there is no proof for this. Just simply the thing is what you should remember this formula, because many time we are going to use this formula. What is a formula? Integration for derivative inside the integration sign. So first you have to find out partial derivative. Next, just like putting upper limit minus lower limit. What is a case only f of x t, t की जगह पे आपको अपर लिमिट पुटअप करना है और उसका डेरिवेटिव निकालना है, राइट? d by d derivative of upper limit with respect to x minus lower limit, that is f of x g of x and derivative of g of x. Okay, let us go for the next theorem. In this theorem, we are going to use this above condition of Leibniz rule. Okay. First, I will write an important formula for converting the multiple integration to a single integral. Okay. This is what the theorem tells us that actually we want to prove that. Let me write down this integration a to x y of t dt raised to n is equals to integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 divided by n minus 1 factorial y of t dt. Or in another way, I can write this as integration a to x up to so on, a to x n times. I have to find out the integration up to n times for a function y of x dt is equals to this same term. Okay. So what is a formula? This formula tells us that how to convert the multiple integration to a single integration. I hope you have done this in the BSc second year somewhere. We are converting multiple integration to single integral. For two integration you have evaluated. Kelat na?
Yes, ma'am.
Integration. So we are changing the limits. We are drawing the sum graph, and with the help of that, we are finding the limits of integration after the change. Okay. So here, what is a case? We have to convert multiple integration into a single integration. But what is a consideration here? Lower limit is constant and upper limit is variable. Okay. What you have to do? We have to convert. Actually, if I hope you are having a problem with this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, dt raised to n, in the sense we have to find out the integration n times. So that's why I have written here integration n times dt. Or in another way, you can write integration a to x y of x dt raised to n. I hope you are writing this d. Suppose you want to find out a derivative of, say, suppose some function f of x, n times dn. ऐसे ही लिखते हो ना? Suppose
Yes.
write down d2y by dx2. So it is derivative of y 2 times. So here also we are finding the derivative of a function f n times. So here we are finding the integration of this function n times. So instead of writing this, you can write n times integration y of x y of t dt, or yes, it should be t, because x is already we are using as a limit. So y of t dt. So we have to find out the integration of y of t dt n times, which is equals to, instead of finding integration n times, we can use this formula, that is x minus t raised to n minus 1 divided by n minus 1 factorial y of t dt, single integration. After using this, you can find out the single integration. Okay. Okay, let me start the proof for this. So for that, but we'll assume actually whatever the integration value we have to prove, because we can't do here anything, right? क्या कर सकते हो इसका? कुछ भी नहीं ना, because अगर आपको y of t ही नहीं, आप multiple integration सॉल्व ही नहीं कर सकते, right? So what we can do for solving or for proving this theorem is simply we can do some substitution or anything else here. Okay, then we can prove this is equal to this quantity, right? So let me have the assumption. Let me start the proof for this. Okay, here we will assume that ln of x is equals to integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 y of t dt, and we'll rename this as equation 1. Now what is here in this case is, this is x minus t raised to n minus 1 y of t dt. The term here we are having, this term we have renamed it as ln of x. This n minus 1 factorial, this is some constant term, no? That we can adjust anywhere. So whatever the term here we have, except this n minus 1 factorial, we have renamed this as ln of x. Okay. Now if I want to use the differentiation under the integration sign, so in this case, what we have actually, if we want to solve this differentiation under the integration sign, if I want to find out the derivative of this term, so we can have g of x. Lower limit is nothing but your constant, and what is upper limit? H of x is variable term, that is x. And what is your function f? F is nothing but x minus t raised to n minus 1 into y of t. Okay. Now we will use Leibniz rule for the differentiation of this term d by dx of in of x. Later on, you will understand why we have found the derivative, because we can't do anything here. Okay, we cannot find out the multiple integration. वही तो हमारा job है ना. We have to convert multiple integration to single integration. So that's why we have renamed this as in of x. So why we are finding a derivative? Suppose if you see here, we have a multiple integration, right? But we are familiar how to find out the nth derivative. Okay, nth derivative हमको easy है, instead of having n times integration, right ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we will do, first we'll find out nth derivative and then we'll directly integrate. Okay, nth derivative अगर हमने यहाँ पे find out किया, then we will find out the n times integration and resultant we will get some terms, and so that we can have this proof. Okay, so let me find out the derivative of x, d by dx of in of x. Okay, so which is equals to d by dx of in of x, as in this case we have, it is nothing but d by dx of integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 y of t dt. Okay, we have to evaluate this derivative under the integration sign. Okay, so if I want to evaluate the derivative under the integration sign, I have to use this rule. It means rule for differentiation under the integration sign. So first, if g of x and h of x are function, you have to use this. But in this case, we have g of x is a constant, but h of x is a one function, or rather we can say simply x, a variable. So let me use this and we'll solve this. Okay. Have you understood, everyone, why we are finding a derivative? Because here this term we have renamed as in of x. Okay, इसको हमने in of x assume किया है ना. So if I found the nth derivative of this one, and if I integrate directly, we will get this term. So hence it will be equal. Okay, and hence the proof. So for that we are finding a derivative. So d by dx of in of x, so which is equals to this term. Now let me use the Leibniz rule for derivative under the integration sign. Okay. So what is the first thing we have to do is integration a to x, we have to keep it as it is. We have to find out the derivative of till it is y of t, derivative of this function f with respect to x. Find out the derivative of this with respect to x. How to find out a derivative?
Partially.
Partially, no doubt. We have to find out partially with respect to x. At that time, we will keep y of t as it is. Okay, what will be the derivative? N minus 1, we have to keep it as it is. Derivative of this term, we can write x minus t, n minus 1 minus 1. So it will be simply
N minus 2.
2, right? And as we are evaluating a derivative with respect to x, so derivative of this term we have to take. What is the derivative of x minus t? It will be 1, right? 1 minus 0. As t is, we are going to, as we are taking a partial derivative, t we will be treating as a constant. Okay. So dou f by dou x we have found, plus what is the next term we have to do is, we have to find out f of x upper limit h of x, and here we have to find out dh by dx. Okay, what is h in this case? Upper limit is x. Okay, so for that let me write down here, it will be easy for you. F of xt is equals to, what is f of xt? We have x minus t raised to n minus 1 into y of t. Now what is our aim to find out? F of xt. What is it? This is x only. Okay, so wherever t we have in the function f, we have to put it as x. It will be x minus x raised to n minus 1. So wherever t t we are finding, we have to keep it as x. The upper limit we are putting, just like we have solved for a डिफाइनाइट इंटीग्रल. डिफाइनाइट इंटीग्रेशन सॉल्व करने के बाद हम क्या करते हैं, अपर लिमिट माइनस लोअर लिमिट. सो वी हैव पुट अप जस्ट अपर लिमिट. X minus x will be 0, no need to have any next term. So what will be this term, f of x comma x, or this term will be 0. Okay, first term we have evaluated. Now what is the second term we have got, it is 0. Okay, now let us evaluate the second one. That is, what is the second term we have to evaluate, f of x g of x, that is lower limit we have to put. Okay, here what is the next term we have to write down?
Is with a minus sign.
Sorry, it is with negative sign. Here it is derivative with respect to x. f of x g of x. Now what is g of x in this case is a. Now if you see here, if I want to find out the derivative of a with respect to x, obviously it will be 0. So what I get the term, no doubt this will be some term, but into 0 it will be again resultant term is 0. Derivative of a with respect to x. बरोबर ना? What is g of x in this case? The lower limit is a. If I want to find out the derivative of a with respect to x, it will be 0. Okay, so in this case this term is 0, and here in this case derivative is 0. Derivative of a constant term is 0. Okay, so finally what we get actually, derivative of our in of x, which was our assumption, it is equals to, we get it as integration a to x n minus 1, right, x minus t raised to n minus 1. What we have, as t is treated as a constant, so we can have derivative with respect to t, no? So it will be as it is.
N minus 2, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, it is n minus 2. Okay, so we have got this d by dx of in. Now if you see carefully, what will be, okay, let me write down here, this is n minus 1. If I keep outside, it will be a to x, x minus t raised to n minus 2 y of t dt. Can anyone tell me what will be the value of this from your assumption in of x?
In of x.
सॉरी, in ऑफ x ना, यहाँ पे आपका क्या है टर्म, n माइनस 2 है, और in ऑफ x में क्या क्या है यहाँ पे, n माइनस 1 है. ऑल अदर टर्म्स आर सेम ना. लेट मी राइट डाउन हियर in of x so that you can understand. In of x is equals to a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 y of t dt. From seeing these two terms, can you relate and can you tell me the value of this term? So easy, na? For n, we are getting here n minus 1. What will be the case if I am having n minus 1 here? Here it will be n minus 2.
N minus 2.
Okay. So what we get for this whole term, we can replace it by in minus 1 of x. बरोबर? Instead of having n, यहाँ पे अगर n है तो यहाँ पे n minus 1 है. अगर यहाँ पे n minus 1 होगा तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, n minus 2. So this term I can replace by in minus 1 of x. So for that we can write d by dx of in of x is equals to n minus 1, this term as it is, into in minus 1 of x. Okay. So let us go for our n equal to 1. What will happen if we put n equal to 1? Because if you see here, if you are going to take n times the derivative, at that time this n minus 1 will be confusing. So for that, let me have this n equal to 1. If I put n equal to 1, what will be the case in equation 1? Okay. If I put n equal to 1, what will be our equation 1? I1 of x is equal to x minus t raised to n minus 1. What is n? 1 minus 1. That will be equal to 0. What will be anything raised to 0?
It's 1.
Anything raised to 0?
1.
1, na? E raised to 0, we have keep it as 1. Okay, what is your ion of x? So in this ion of x, what you have to do? Put n equal to 1. If I put n equal to 1 here, it will be integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1. n क्या है आपका 1 है, 1 minus 1 will be 0. Anything raised to 0 will be 1. So what we have simply y of t dt. Okay. So now we will find out d by dx of this term. Later on you will understand why we have found the derivative of this I1 of x. Up to then I will give a hint. Okay. So यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या करने वाले, इसका हम nth डेरिवेटिव जब भी निकालेंगे तो ये I n minus 1 will be confusing. So for that, for this n minus 1, we will take one more derivative. At that time, we can keep directly value. Okay, if I take one more derivative, so at that time, we can have derivative of I1 of x. Okay, I'm giving you simply a hint. Later on, I will explain this, why we have taken this. Or rather, you can understand directly after the proof. D by dx of integration a to x y of t dt. Right. Now again derivative under the you have to use a Leibniz rule for derivative inside the integration sign. So let me find out this d by dx of integration a to x y of t dt, which is equal to. So what will be the value integration a to x as it is? What is a function in this case? F of x t is simply y of t. बरोबर ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to find out the partial derivative of y of t with respect to x. Okay. Can anyone tell me what will be the partial derivative of a function f? What is a function f in this case? Y of t. A partial derivative function in with respect to x
It is 0.
will be 0 plus what is the next term we have? Actually it is nothing but f of x h of x. What is h of x? X. Derivative of h of x with respect to x. Okay, now what is your f of xt? It is nothing but y of t. Correct. Now if I want to find out f of x comma x, because upper limit we have to put now. Upper limit is x. So wherever you are having t, you have to put it as x. So यहाँ पे t है तो इसलिए हम क्या रखेंगे? y of x. Okay. So value of f of x comma x we have got it as y of x. Okay. What is the derivative of h of x? That is h of x with respect to x.
1.
This one. Now let us find out the next term, that is f of x comma g of x. What is a g of x in this case? Is a constant term. Okay, f of x comma a. But instead of finding this, you can have the next term. What is the next term here? It is f of x g of x into derivative of g of x we have to find out. But what is g? G is a constant term. Lower limit is a constant. Derivative of constant term with respect to x will be 0. So this whole term will be 0. This term is also 0. So what we remains only?
Y of x.
Right. Integration a to x y of t dt is equals to we get only one term, that is y of x. Okay. So this is nothing but your d by dx of I1 of x. वही है ना ये d by dx of I1 of x, we got it is equal to y of x. Derivative of I1 of x is nothing but simply your function y of x. Okay. Now what we will do actually, for n equal to 1 we have found one equation. Before that we have found the derivative d by dx of in of x. So here this, let me rename this as equation say sum 2. Now we will find out derivative of equation 2 k times. Okay, as I told you, we have to find out the derivative of this term n times. First, we'll find out up to k times. Directly, we cannot jump to the result. As you know, as you have studied your number theory paper, in that you have studied induction, the weak induction and strong induction. In that, what you do, for n equal to 0, we will assume. For n equal to 1, will for n equal to 0 and 1, we will prove the result, and then we will assume for n equal to k, and then we'll prove the result is true for any number. So here also what we will do, we will find out the derivative of this second equation. Okay, so that means we have to do we have to find out derivative of second equation, that is k times we have to differentiate the second equation. Okay, is there any doubt? बोला. चौथा सेमी
No, ma'am.
त्याच्यानंतर आम्ही तुम्हाला कधी सांगणार नाही बोला म्हणून. एल्युमिनाला आले तेव्हाच. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to find out we have to differentiate our equation number 2 k times. Differentiating equation 2 k times on the condition we are saying that k is strictly less than 1. So let me write down the derivative, dk by dx raised to k. What is a term here we have? It is in of x, which is equals to what we have. If you see here our equation, if you are going to if you are going to differentiate this equation k times, so this n minus 1 term will be ऐसे ही कोई terms आएगा ना minus 1, right? If you differentiate this once again, what will be the term? N minus 2 यहाँ पे आएगा ना, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you are going to differentiate this equation, so here instead of having simply n minus 1, the next term is n minus 2 x minus t raised to n minus 3. Okay, so this term will be changing. So if you are going to differentiate k times, what will be the change? First term अगर हम लेंगे तो इसका n minus 1 आएगा, correct? Next term it will be n minus 2 and so on. If you are going to differentiate k times, what we get actually?
N minus k.
Correct, n minus k. For first derivative it is 1. For second derivative it will be n minus 2. So if you are going to differentiate k times, it will be n minus k. What is the term here we will remain is I n minus k of x. Okay. You see here, you can see n minus 1. If you are going to differentiate one time, it will be in minus 1. If you are going to differentiate k times, it will be in minus k. Okay, now what we will do, we will put for k equal to n minus 1. That means we are assuming the result is true for n, right? By induction. First we'll assume and first we'll prove the result for n equal to 0, 1. Then we'll prove then we will assume the result is true for n for any integer, and then we'll generalize the concept. Correct? So here we will assume k equal to n minus 1, because what is the condition we have imposed? K is strictly less than n. So dn minus 1 dx raised to n minus 1 in of x is equals to n minus 1. जहाँ पे k है वहाँ पे हमको n minus 1 रखना है. N minus k is nothing but n minus 1. So this n get cancelled. So what we remain simply 1, na?
Yes.
So this 3, 2, 1 we can write, because it will be terms we are having now. So it is n minus k. Let me write down those who are having a confusion. N minus k will be n minus k is nothing but n minus 1. So it will be n get cancelled. It will be plus 1. So here also it will get I1 of x. Okay. Now I hope you can understand why we have found the value of I1 of x. D by dx of I1 of x we have found. What is the value we got? It is d by dx of I1 of x. Let me rename this as equation number 3. D by dx of I1 of x we have found it is y of x. Now you can see here we have assumed that the result is true for n minus 1. What you have to do if I want to find out the nth derivative, because actually we want to prove the result is for integration, correct? Right, you can see here. Here we have renamed this as in of x. And if you are going to differentiate this term n times, then directly doing an integration will give you the n times integration. Okay. So here, what you have to do, we have found n minus 1. So next term, we will find out a derivative, one more derivative of this above term. So it will be simply dn by dx raised to n of in of x. It is equal to n minus 1. Now, can anyone tell me what will be the value of this whole constant terms? Up to the
It will remain as it is, ma'am.
y as it is?
That's constant and it is in multiplication.
No doubt it is in multiplication. Okay. What will be the value of n factorial?
It is n minus 1 factorial.
Okay, n minus 1 factorial. What is the value of n minus 1 factorial?
Is that upper side n minus?
No ma'am, n factorial म्हणजे n
हे बरोबर आहे का? n factorial equal to n minus 1 factorial?
No, ma'am.
n minus 1 n minus 2 up to 3
Ah.
1 येते ना.
So in this way, what will be the value of this term? N minus 1, n minus
n factorial.
No, it is n factorial. It will be
It
n
is n minus 1 factorial.
Correct?
Yes.
जहाँ से start होगा वहीं पे consider करेंगे ना n minus 1 factorial. Now actually we have found the value of this. As I told you that why we have to find out a value of d by dx of in of x. D by dx of I1 of x will be equal to simply y of x from equation 3. Let me write down here this d by dx. It will be dn by dx raised to n in of x is equals to n minus 1 factorial. Value of this term we have already calculated from equation 3, which is y of x. Correct? Now, what we have to do simply, we have to find out the integration of this term n times. Whatever the term we have obtained here, we have to find out the integration of this n times. What will be the resultant if I found the integration of this term n times? Integration derivative will get cancelled. What will remain the term? It is
In x.
In of x is equals to this n times integration we get. And the term what we remain outside is n minus 1 factorial into, as we are having the same term, so let me rewrite this as y of t dt integration a to x n times, right? So what is the in of x we have assumed? Is nothing but integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 y of t dt, correct, which is equal to n minus 1 factorial, and n times integration we have to write. This n minus 1 factorial I can keep here, which will be nothing but integration a to x minus t raised to n minus 1 divided by n minus 1 factorial y of t dt, which is equals to this multiple integration y of t dt, and hence the result. You can verify the result. Okay. This is what we want to prove. Multiple integration converted to a single integration. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me repeat once again what we have done. We have to find out the multiple integration can be converted to single integration. So for that we cannot do anything for this term. So we have found that this term we have renamed as in of x. Okay. After renaming this as in of x, we have an equation 1. So let us find out the derivative of this term. Okay. First derivative we have found, and then we can find out a kth derivative. Okay. And after finding these derivatives, we have to just finally integrate n times and we'll get the result. So first we have found the if derivative, you have to use a Leibniz rule for differentiation under the integration sign. At that time you can use easily, no? First you have to find out a partial derivative, then you have to find out those upper and lower limit, find out a derivative. This g is a constant, hence derivative is 0. This f of x comma x will be 0 because x minus t, that is x minus x, will be 0. So after finding this, what you have to do, we have to find out what will be the value of this integration from your equation 1. So as it is n, here it is n minus 1. If it is n minus 1, what should be the term here? N minus 2. So hence value of this whole bracket will be simply n minus 1. So here we get it is d by dx of I n of x is n minus 1 into I n minus 1 x. Now actually we need a value of d by dx of I1 of x later on. So that's why we are doing initially itself. Okay, so hence we have found the value of d by dx of I1 of x. At that time also we have to use a Leibniz rule. After using that, you have to find out the derivative of your second equation k times. Okay, just like your induction method, mathematical induction. And then put k equal to n minus 1 and somewhere you are getting d by dx of I1 of x. इसका वैल्यू हमने ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेट किया है जिसका वैल्यू इक्वेशन नंबर 3 में है. So just you have to put up those values y of x and hence the result after integrating n times. Okay. Is there any doubt? If not, we'll go for the next because we have 2 lectures. I hope. Timetable. बघितलेत ना timetable?
Yes, ma'am.
Only 23 itself, out of which 2 are me's. Then it will be only 21 only. काय करतात बाकीचे? कुठे बिझी आहेत? परत आम्ही स्ट्रिक्ट ऍक्शन घेतल्यानंतर येतात. मॅडमनी असं केलं, तसं केलं. आमचा हे प्रॉब्लेम होता, शेतात होतो. Okay, solutions of integral equation. Next point we are going to see what is a solution of integral equation. Let us go back. What is the definition for solution of differential equation?
It consists of 2 parts, particular integral and complementary function.
No doubt that is what we want to say in the form of CF plus PI. But what is the definition of solution? How you are going to define that? Okay. Suppose you have this equation x minus 1. What is the solution of this equation?
X equal to 1, 1.
Simply 1 is also sufficient, ना? What do you mean by x equal to 1? 1 अगर आप इस equation में रखोगे तो क्या मिलेगा?
It satisfies the equation.
1 minus 1 which is equals to 0. What is the solution? The solution means what? It is going to satisfy your equation identically, right? So what is the solution of integral equation? That is also a function y of x. That means if you are going to find out y of x in such a way that it will satisfy your original integral equation, just like your differential equation. Suppose it is of the form d2y by dx2 plus say suppose 2 dy by dx plus say another term, say 3 is and suppose you got some solution y of x is equal to some function. Okay, so what do you mean by solution? This, if I am going to put this solution in this equation, it should satisfy this equation. What do you mean by satisfy this equation? The resultant term, whatever we are getting, it should be equal to 0 after putting this y of x, whatever the function you got. Suppose you got it is sin x. So अगर आप sin x का sin x यहाँ पे पुटअप करते हो तो इसका रिजल्टेंट टर्म क्या आना चाहिए यहाँ पे 0. और इन अनदर वे अगर यहाँ पे 0 की जगह पे कोई नंबर है तो वो आपको LHS should be equal to RHS after putting that solution, right? So it must satisfy your original integral equation. Okay, so for that let me consider the integral equation. General form we will consider g of x y of x is equals to capital F of x plus lambda integration a to b a of xt y of t dt. Okay, so this is what a general form of integral equation. Now what do you mean by a solution? Solution of integral equation is a function which when you are going to substitute in our equation, it must satisfy your equation. Okay, that means whatever the solution we are getting y of x, when suppose y of x, if you got it is as some function say x square, after putting this in above equation you should get that LHS should be equal to RHS. And if you get this type of an equation, you can say this x square is a solution of this equation. I am just saying the example. It may be some another function, sin x, cos x, sin square x, cot x, whatever may be the function. Okay, if you are going to put it back in your equation, the resultant equation should satisfy the condition, or it should satisfy identically, or you can say LHS should be equal to RHS. Okay. For that, let us solve some example. I hope you are having pen and paper with you. Ahit na?
Yes, ma'am.
Gari check.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
First see where I am solving this. After that, I will give one example to solve. Verify y of x is equals to half is a solution of integral equation 0 to x y of t dt divided by under root x minus t dt is equals to root x. Okay, verify whether y of x is equal to 1 by 2 is a solution of this integral equation. What do you mean by verify this whether it is solution? हमको क्या करना है, जहाँ पे भी y of x और y of t है वहाँ पे 1 by 2 वैल्यू रख के वेरीफाई करना है ना. So after solving this, we should get it is equal to root x. Okay. Understood how to solve this example?
Yes, ma'am.
y of t की जगह हमें 1 by 2 रखना है और यहाँ पे जो भी इक्वेशन है उसको सॉल्व करना है. After solving this, we should get it should be equal to root x. Okay. If you want to solve, you can also solve with me. So wherever you are having y of t, we have to put it as 1 by 2. Integration 0 to x 1 by 2 dt. Sorry, dt I have repeated. Divided by under root x minus t. Okay, first we'll solve this part and then we'll prove that it is equal to root x. सांगा 12वीत सॉल्व केलेत ना इंटिग्रेशन. What will be the value of dt upon under root of x minus t?
We can write it as x minus t raised to minus half.
After that,
Then we have that formula x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1.
we can go with that also, but it is somewhat complicated. What we can do is actually, if integration is with respect to t, you can keep x as a constant term, no? dt upon under root of a minus t. What is the integration of this term? Okay, here confusing. Let me write down dt upon suppose under root t. Integration of 1 upon root t. Integration of 1 upon root t. Okay, what is the derivative of root x?
1 upon 2 root x.
1 upon 2 right root x. In the very similar way, अगर आप डेरिवेटिव इसका 1 upon root 1 upon 2 root x बोल रहे हो तो इसका इंटीग्रेशन क्या होगा 1 upon root इंटीग्रेशन
2 times root x.
2 times under root of x minus t. As already the integration is with respect to t, so hence this minus sign should be introduced, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Rotate derivative of this term. What will be the derivative of this term? It is 0 minus 1. Okay. So what we got, actually we have to put up the limits also. Limits is within the limit 0 to x. This 2 get cancelled. This minus sign I can take outside. Okay. So here we have to put up the limits under root of x minus t की जगह पे put up करना है लिमिट. इंटीग्रेशन जिससे ले रहे हो उसकी जगह पे ही पुट अप करो. अदरवाइज मोस्टली वी हैव अ हैबिट टू पुट द लिमिट्स फॉर एक्स टर्म. Okay, don't confuse in the exam. You should not put up the limits for x because we have to integrate with respect to t. It will be x minus x minus the next term is under root of x minus 0. Okay, so it is with negative sign minus. Here we can get it is root of x minus x will be 0 minus under root of x. This minus minus will be plus, so we get it is root x, and hence we get LHS is equal to RHS, and hence the result. ये भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था ने, आई थिंक सेट एग्जाम में था ये क्वेश्चन. इट्स वेरी इजी. व्हाट दे हैव गिवन, एक्चुअली उन्होंने y of x is equal to half नहीं दिया था ना, because here it is verified type. So they have asked this equation and options were there na, a b c d. What is the solution of this integral equation? So at that time we can have option as 1 by 2, x by 2, 3 by 2. At that time it is very easy. You have to just cross check क्योंकि आपके पास 4 ऑप्शंस है. अगर आप फर्स्ट से भी ट्राई करोगे तो इजीली आंसर मिल सकता है ना. इफ इट इज फर्स्ट इट डायरेक्टली विल गेट आंसर, राइट? कळालं का काय सांगितलं?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So let us go for the second example. Actually, you have to solve this example. Right, the show that y of x is equals to 1 minus x is a solution of integration 0 to x e raised to x minus t y of t dt is equals to x. ये आपका इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन है और आपको वेरीफाई करना है कि ये y of x से सॉल्यूशन है या नहीं. ओके, डू इट फास्टली एंड टेल मी. येते का सॉल्व करायला? Somewhere I think you have to use integration by parts, U into V rule for integration.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
Have you solved?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you got the answer? It is equals to, I think, it should be equal to x now, whatever the integration you have solved.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else have solved it? Abhijit Patil, Anuja Manjre, Anup Bhosle, Bhagyashree Binakka, Gayatri Kiran, Komal Pandurang, Pankaj Poonam Prajatta, रोहिणी दासी, शेखर सोनवणे आहेत का हे तर सांग. चालू करून गेले कुठेतरी. असतात काही मुलं लिव्ह करा म्हणून सांगितल्यानंतर असतात 4-5. In the next lecture, we'll go for the method of converting IVP to Volterra integral equation. Okay, write down this next example for the y of x is equal to 1 upon pi root x. You have to verify whether this is a solution or not for this equation. Okay, write down this example and solve and tell your friends to attend the lecture, otherwise we have to take a strict action. I will call your parents because we have a phone number of your parents at the time of admission. And then you have to answer your parents. We have a presentee also now. For every lecture we are getting a presentee. Even we get the presentee in such a way that how many times you have left the meeting. Right. Sometimes due to internet issue also you can left the meeting. But how many times you have left the meeting, these things also available in everyday presentee. If you are having a doubt, you can also conduct your Google Meet and you can take that attendance. Attendance sheet automatic generate होता है. Okay, you can go for that Google Presentee or Google Sheet. Let me show you that. लिहिलेत का सगळ्यांनी example or homework?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Written. Let me show you how the presentee looks like.
Ma'am, can I ask something?
Yes.
Ma'am, you have taken admission for PhD, right?
Yeah, I have taken.
And how is it going?
Yes,
How is it going then?
it is going good. Actually, I have completed my first research paper. I have given for publication in the Elsewhere journal. Actually, the Elsewhere will require the some more amount of time to publish this. So near about 1.5 year will be there for publishing of that. And I am currently working for the second paper, but I am having some problem for that. कुछ थोड़ा बहुत डाउट है वो हमारे जो गाइड है उनको दिया है अब जब उनको टाइम मिलेगा वो सॉल्व करेंगे इट इज गोइंग गुड व्हाई यू आर आल्सो इंटरेस्टेड
No, I wanted to know what you're doing.
Actually, my topic is fluid mechanics. So it is completely consisting of just like suppose कोई motion है किसी particle का और mostly we are thinking about the liquid. Different type of liquid we have. Suppose आप सपोज अगर हम वाटर अगर आप पानी छोड़ रहे हो वहाँ पे तो आफ्टर सम टाइम इट विल चेंज सम नेचर नो मे बी velocity increases decreases acceleration and some another type of fluids are there just like sauce honey and some fluids are in such a way that they are just like a solid एक्चुअली आई विल शेयर यू अ वीडियो जहाँ पे हम उसके ऊपर चल सकते हो पानी के ऊपर रादर इट इज नॉट अ वाटर बट इट इज सम लिक्विड वहां पे हम उसके ऊपर चल सकते हैं जस्ट लाइक अगर आप समंदर में जाते हो तो आपके पैर पूरा पानी के अंदर जाते हैं ना सो वो दिखने पर से लिक्विड है बट अगर आप उसके ऊपर पैर रखते हो तो आप आपके पैर उसके अंदर नहीं जाएंगे आई होप यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग
Yes, ma'am. It is buoyant force, viscosity.
राइट सो दैट थिंग्स वी आर स्टडिंग एक्चुअली मेरा कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है फ्लूइड मैकेनिक्स में बट गाइड का जो टॉपिक है हमको वही पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना प्रेजेंटिंग so how many times you have entered and how many times you have left the meeting this green shows that you are inside the meeting right so tell your friends to attend the lecture regularly and even we are getting the excel sheet day wise name of a student arrival means at which time she entered the meeting and at which time she left the meeting like this 12:08 12:09 okay so don't assume that we will say that we were there in the lecture and all okay let me end the lecture thank you
Thank you, ma'am.
if anyone having any other type of a doubt you can ask आहेत बाबा कोण कोण आहे वसुंधरा देशमुख किरण पांढरे चालू करून गेलेत